Earlier today, President Tinubu has departed the Federal Capital Territory for Paris, France, on a short walking visit. During the visit, the president will appraise his administration's midterm performance and assess the key milestones. He will also use the retreat to review the progress of ongoing reforms and engage in strategic planning ahead of his administration's second anniversary. This period of reflection will inform plans to deepen ongoing reforms and accelerate a lot of national development priorities in the coming year. He was, of course, captured at the airport when he was departing Abuja to France on this walking visit, which has caused, has sparked a lot of concern about yet again another visits to France. President Tinubu departing Abuja for some concerns about moments of deepening thoughts on the ongoing reforms and accelerating national development priorities in the coming year. I was seen by some ministers of his cabinet, Senator Carey. I also have the National Security Advisor right there, who had received the president, the Secretary of the Federation, Kume, Senator Kume, and the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, bid a departure to the president to France, which of course the government press statement said that he will be staying in France for 2 weeks for the period of reflection and to plan concerns about reforms and accelerating national development priorities in the coming year. Hello everyone, tonight on Big Talk, we'll be delving our attention to the upcoming event of Senator Natasha. I recall the 10th Senate had suspended the senator representing Kogi Central, and that has continued to draw a lot of attention. Last week we saw the fact that some constituents went to INEC to initiate some process of recalling her back. But yesterday, we of course witnessed the fact that she had made a lot of plans to visit our hometown in a homecoming event in, according to her, was Salah celebration. But the Kogi State government has reacted to that homecoming Salah celebration by suspended Senator Natasha. Despite a last-minute ban that was imposed on public gatherings in the state. The state governor, Usman Ododo, had on Monday announced a ban on rallies, citing security report less than 24 hours to the Battle Senators' homecoming rally, which was built to celebrate the Eid festival with our constituent. But on that day, while the roads were blocked with heavily armed police operatives and soldiers alongside men of the Civil Defense Corps, the senator left many a mess when she flew into her country home in Adavi local government area of the state in an helicopter, which had followed the development, a lot of action, condemning, statement condemning an action issued by the State Commissioner for Information of that state, describing Natasha as being manipulative and has broken the law of the state. That was what the Kogi State Commissioner have stated clearly. That is a senator using helicopter to have her way into her hometown, despite the concern of coffee declared by the governor and the government of Kogi State and a whole lot of that. That has continued to spark concern. If the senator was to visit our state, what better ways would the government react other than what's declaring of coffee, banning of movement, and a whole lot? I have an elder statement from that state who understand the politics, development, and all of those generality surrounding that state. Dr. Bartholomew Abochenu, a statement. It joins us live here on the program. Thanks so much for joining us on the program.
My pleasure for you having me.
Thank you. How do you see all of this? We do not want to dwell on the issues of suspension, but for the state to say we do not want gathering, public gathering. We are not after anybody doing Salah celebration, but we do not want people to gather. The senator went ahead, according to the state, and said she has violated the order of the government of Kogi State. Some persons are viewing this action as against the law made by the government of the day.
Well, in the first place, you said a law was made by the Kogi State government. Who is the government? In any state, we have three arms of government. We have the executive, we have the legislature, and we have the judiciary. If you say the Kogi State government made a law, which arm of the government?
An order. Referring back to an order.
Which arm of the government? Let me put it down. Order. Which arm of the government made the order? Orders don't rule a society. It's laws. Societies are governed by laws, not orders, not directive, not instruction. The law supersedes all those ones. Because one can be drawn into an emotional threshold and issue out an order. Even in US, President Trump issued out an executive order concerning citizenship of children that are born in America. They are challenging it in court. Hello? Or you are not aware? They are challenging it in court. Order cannot take precedence over laws. So what the Kogi State government did was a brutal issuance of law and instruction. And if you are giving orders and you are giving instruction, your order and instruction should pay homage to the existing laws. To the existing laws. Laws are not. I'm coming.
Threat of insecurity. I mean, we're trying to see how we can establish a fact. Yes, we've agreed. You said law. I mean, the order was not in. Was not rightly done, and all of that. What happened when there are cases of insecurity as cited by the government for them to have given that early warning that people should not gather?
If they gather, then you take up the matter. If they gather and what you are afraid of happens, you take up the matter. Say, we had the plan to push this into the State House of Assembly. Let the bill be assented to before enforcement, but there was no time. And we have the right to protect lives and properties. And that was why we went into this. We sounded a note of warning. And you did not hear. You went and you did this. And this has fallen out. We are taking you to court. That's a different thing altogether. Here, you came on the superficiality of giving an order or giving an instruction, and it was violated. And that instruction contravenes the existing laws that govern the state. In section 39 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, we have right to freedom of expression. In section 40 of the 1999 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we have freedom of assembly. We can gather freely. The law has vested us with that power, has empowered us And you are coming to tell us through your mere instruction or order that we shouldn't gather. And in section 41 of the same 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, we have a right to freedom of movement.
So you view nothing, nothing is wrong with the action of the senator while condemning the move by the government probably to forestall whatever may have happened or the escalating insecurity or the gathering of intelligence according to their statements while they were declaring the coffee. So you view that there is nothing wrong with the action of Senator Natasha.
Who is escalating the problem? Are they not the one? Are they not the one? Were they not the one who initiated her recall move?
They said our constituent, not the government. Of the government said we are not
the government
behind a recall. Even the letter that was submitted to INEC does not have the government of Kogi State on that letter.
Look, in my language, they said, look at the footprints of the horse and look at a dead body. Who killed that child? They can say whatever they want to say. That doesn't bother anybody. Everybody knows the truth.
So do you feel that was political, the statement, the move by the government? Do you view it to be a political move and not on the grounds they stated?
Purely a political move. Purely a political move. So what I was saying that I had not concluded, you were now saying that disrupting this security and the rest. Who brought the issue of insecurity? Who brought the issue of commotion? Who brought the issue of upheaval? Were they not the ones who started it? By initiating a recall move? Look at the person that they say they are recalling. Look at the rousing welcome that she had. The whole world watched her.
So how do we have 250, the signatures that we had, about 2,000 signatures accompanying that recall letter?
250,000. They were forged. They were forged. It was under a deceit. And those people, some of them who submitted the things they were looking for, they said that they never knew that it was for a recall process. That they deceived them under the guise of empowerment. Now, who is initiating all these upheavals? Is it not them? Is it not them? That charity that was at the lead role, a land that is in Odudu's government. What she is doing, actually, I don't know. But she is...
Is she not from that constituency? Is she not from the Senatorial District?
She should be. She should be. But she is in Odudu's cabinet, working for Odudu. If Odudu's hands were not inside, Odudu would have said, no, this is our own person. The Senate are handling their issue. Leave them first. They have a case to settle. Let them settle first. They kept quiet. Just like Tinubu, I'm coming. Just like Tinubu. He claimed not to know what was happening between Fubara and Nyesom Wike. Similarly, Fubara, he claimed not to know it. And we know that he knew everything. We know that he knew everything. He was working from the back door. That is the kind of crop of people we have in Nigeria. We have people that are not patriotic. We have people that are selfish. We have people that don't tell the truth. We have people that come to deceive people, even when they know that the people know that they are lying. How will Ododo come and say that in case of insecurity problem and the rest? And you were the one who initiated it. You were the one who initiated it.
Initiated what?
Initiated the problem. By the recall process. By the recall process. Because according to them, they are aware that if Natasha comes now, looking at the recall process that had been on ground, the people that are following Natasha may try to foment trouble. Moreover, he was the one who initiated the problem. He created a dichotomy.
We may not say clearly that we have facts surrounding that allegations of the governor or the government of Kogi State behind the recall process. But let's stay on the issue. Are you not bothered that Senator Natasha is engaging in so many fights? We've seen the battle already of 6 months suspension from the National Assembly. Now she has pulled the governor, even the former governor, into all of this matters. She raised all of those concerns. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you had listened to our speech yesterday. Some person said it was inciting to the sensitivity of the security of Kogi State. So you feel that there was nothing wrong with her statement, indicting the former governor, pointing fingers to the governor, and all of those concerns?
She said those things publicly, and everybody heard her. And mind you, I would like you to understand that Natasha is a seasoned lawyer. She won't just open her mouth like that. She knew, because if she gets a client, this is the same advice she will give to her client, that before you give a public outburst of this kind, you should have your facts. I believe very strongly that Natasha wouldn't have come out to say those things if she does not have her facts. And so the side of those people that he has alleged now is to take up legal steps against her if they are very, very sure that what she said were wrong. Let them take her to let them take her to court. I'm coming. Let them take her to court, and in the other way, inciting. What is inciting? There's nothing inciting about it. She's saying the truth. There's nothing inciting about it. The other people were already on ground. The other side of the camp were already on ground. Bellows men were already on ground. Ododo's men were already on ground. And instances are equally linking them to Akpabio, that Akpabio is the one initiating all those things. Those in those camps, they are already on their own camp. And Natasha is informing her own followers the situation of things. This is where I am. You people are aware that these people are against me. They have suspended me. They have suspended me. And again, they have raised a ban on my movement, infringing on my fundamental human rights. They have banned me from expressing myself, infringing on my fundamental human rights. They have infringed, or they have raised a ban on my movement, infringing on my fundamental human rights. These are more other things that they are doing. What What is inciting about you expressing yourself to your followers? If she had kept quiet, you know, words are powerful. Her followers will be tempted to cross carpet to the other side. Everybody wants to maintain her camp or his camp. Yes, he said so. The coming to say those words is not the important thing. The important thing is how true are they. If what she was saying are true, then there's no idea of inciting the public about it.
I mean, because we're trying to get the side of the government, of course, they have given a lot of justification that the senator has actually violated their order, even when she came through helicopter, probably not using road, even when there was a restriction of movement by road. The government have said, by way of public gathering, the number of persons who had converged in our hometown, and from that video, we've seen that it was more of a political rally. That it was not about Salah celebration. It was not about, just a homecoming of a greeting. That she had turned that gathering, which was already, the government had already saw that coming, that it probably maybe turned into a political rally. We are looking hard, because you are an elder statesman, when government come out to say, no matter the side you feel that the government are standing, to say, do not gather, do not do a public gathering, do not make movement, and all of that. Some said, by virtue of the fact that we are still under the law in this country, one ought to obey. And as a senator, a distinguished senator like her, and a lawyer, she should understand how to do this in better.
First and foremost, Mike, what they banned was public gathering. Although it was illegal, it has not been legally permitted.
But the governor has, they have those powers to ban
the
some
government is not
at
the one.
every critical time.
No, the government
they
is
have
not
backed
the,
some constitution that give them that powers to do that.
The government does not have the powers to make law. Well, let's leave that one. Is public gathering. How do you define public gathering? Public gathering is gathering in a public place. My own layman language, public gathering is gathering in a public place. And the public places that we have are the instances of the state government. This woman did not hold a meeting in any public place. She held the meeting in her compound. What are you talking to me about?
Those crowd.
Listen, anybody can come. Two people can come, and he said she came for Salah celebration. Will you give a limit to the number that will come and visit you on Salah Day? Will you give a limit to those people that will come and visit you on the Christmas Day? If only one person comes, fine. If 1 million people come, it is your house. They came. What law are you going to use to stand against that? If they continue on this hegemony, it will be a showpiece of brutal acrimony, envy, jealousy, and the rest of them. And the more they continue to do this, the more they make the senator to become popular. The senator had been popular in the saga in the Senate. The one of yesterday made her more popular. They will still go back and plan another thing to come, not knowing that the more things they plan, the more popular they make this woman to become. Somebody sits or somebody sat in her compound and people came to visit her.
Right.
And they say you are trying to ban that. Who empowers you to that? It was in her compound.
All right. I mean, before we wrap up, the issues of recalling, that those that are probably saying, if we have those numbers, probably you said...
And again, before you go there, I quoted section 39 of the Federal Constitution, of the 1999 Constitution as amended. I quoted also section 40, and I quoted also section 41. There is one other section that has reserved the responsibilities of the law enforcement agent, the law enforcement agents. In section 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, they said that it is the responsibility of the police to protect lives and properties. Hello, are you with me? It is the responsibility, it's their responsibility. So, you, as the police in Kogi State Command, you want to tell me that if Natasha is coming home, you don't have enough police to deploy to go and ensure that there is peace? Is that what you want to tell me? Rather than banning gatherings. Before you ban gatherings, are you with me, Mike? Before you ban gathering, let it be very, very clear that it was not emotionally driven. And for it to be clear to your constituents, for it to be clear to the electorates that brought you into the government. What you need to go and do, make a law and send it to the National Assembly, to the State Assembly. Let them assent to the law. Let it become a law. So that the idea of only the executive is controlling the state will not be there. And even at that, Natasha reserves the right to still go to the judiciary and obtain an injunction to stop the legislature from banning her. This is where pure and true democracy takes its seat. All these things were boycotted.
All right.
And the police, instead of carrying out their responsibility, you see them at roadblock collecting 100 naira. 100 naira. They don't do the security job. They are at roadblocks, but kidnappings are still happening. Why? Because they don't do the job that they are supposed to do, rather than reserving them for malicious activities and envious activities of this kind. It doesn't help us.
All right. What do you foresee as an elder between the fights, Senate President Akpabio, the Senate, because the Senate are saying that this is about protecting the institution. What do you foresee? And how can this matter be resolved? The constituents are saying suspending their senator for 6 months is depriving, their constituents of equal representation at the National Assembly. There are a lot of cases that have cited even the order. I mean, the law says about suspending a senator and all of that. Some said, can we find a solution to this crisis?
Now, when we're talking in terms of these subjects, we should cast a binocular vision on them. We shouldn't attack them superficially as they appear before us. before the Senate suspended Natasha, it was not only from the Senate. If you dig so deep, you will understand that it stems further than the Senate. You could listen to what the First Lady was saying about it. I leave you with that one. That is to show that this thing was not stemming up from the Senate alone. Number two, what was the offense of this lady? What was her offense that was so catastrophic like that, that they were looking at that in a very, very devastating manner? Change your seat, you say, I'm not changing my seat. You say, okay, you spoke roughly to us. That's all. That has to end her 6 months suspension. I don't know how true it is that I used to hear that the Senate don't have the power to suspend anybody for more than 2 weeks. They went ahead and suspended this lady for 6 months, not for 1 month, not for 2 months, not for 3 months, for 6 months. I sense a vendetta. I sense a vendetta in the deal. And again, if suspension would be what you will do, would it be for 6 months? So people are trying to shift this topic from what is happening. It goes beyond what we can see. It goes beyond what we can see. So the issue there is not about suspending her from Senate, and there are other hidden things that are there that we need to know. And Nigerians need to sit up. Let us build a powerful, a sustaining democracy, rather than democracy that is government or who is on top of the horse and can move the horse anyhow he wants. That will never, never help us. When the Senate learn to behave themselves well, now they say that Natasha Akpoti Oduogan disregarded Senate rules, and that end her 6 months suspension. What of this person? Unwa Ebonyi. What is that his first name? Is it Ifeanyi? Unwa Ebonyi. That man from Aba North, senator. He insulted Natasha from his mouth, calling him an insult to womanhood. A senator. No, he insulted this person. Obi is a question.
Former Minister of Education.
A senator.
That was an outburst.
So you don't see anything.
Plenary.
You don't see anything wrong there. And this thing happened at the instance of the Senate. A committee on ethics and privileges. Was that a cautious behavior? Was that a cautious behavior? Number one, Ifeanyi Nwebonyi is in his 40s. Is in his 40s. Obi Ezekwesili is in her 70s. Ezekwesili could bet him up. So he has no regard for seniority. What Obi Ezekwesili has achieved, can he achieve up to half of it before he dies?
Right.
You couldn't respect a woman of that kind. So, and you didn't go ahead to suspend him. So, the deal in the Senate and Natasha goes beyond what meets the eye.
All right. Doctor, of course, because of time, we might not be able to exhaust all of that conversation. But thanks so much for joining us on the show. Dr. Bartholomew Abochano, he's an elder statesman. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight. And your insight. We do hope that there will be a better way of resolving these issues because some persons who have viewed from that incident that the people of Kogi State Central really have love for Senator Natasha.
Why not?
And she has a number, even if INEC had to come down to do their verification of that number of persons who submitted a petition. So you feel she has a number that will admit that.
Why not?
All right. Of course, it's a development right that I have occurred yesterday. But a lot of communications coming from the state government are describing Senator Natasha as a manipulative and violating the order of the state government. But just in a way, there is a lot of breaking news coming because Edo State there was a lot of concern coming from Edo State. We're monitoring that news for you, but there's a breaking news that tribunal has affirmed Akpabalo has Edo governor dismissing Igalo PDP's petition because there was a petition by the PDP and other parties against INEC, and the result that announced that Akpabalo has a winner of the September gubernatorial election. But now the tribunal that was sitting here in Abuja has affirmed Governor Akpabalo's as a governor of Edo State while dismissing the petition filed by PDP and the candidate Igalo, which is just coming in as a breaking story. But away from that, after this break, we'll be coming back to look at the issues concerning Rivers State. Some group are coming out to say, look a bit, can we listen to what the former head of service stated, allegations he raised against the governor, the suspended governor? That will be what we'll be looking at just after this break. Please stay with us. I'll be right back.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television.
Policies and political actors are in the news every day, all day. And on our part, we guide you through the noise and get you to the heart of the matter. Big Talk is your home of all angle analysis of the top political stories. Airing weekdays on Global TV, 7 p.m. Big Talk, engaging and insightful. And I will turn attention now to the Rivers State crisis as groups are demanding for immediate investigation into serious allegations made by the former head of service, Dr. George Nweke, and a lot of concern surrounding what The former head of service said a lot of revelations. Of course, the government of Obara have been trying to also respond to all of those concerns, but there are a lot to be worried about because if matters of this nature are not fully followed and substantiated, it may become a problem. I'm joining us now virtually here from Abuja here is Dr. Nwabu Gabriel, the convener of Center for Credible Leadership. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight.
Thanks for having me. Good evening.
All right. There are a lot of persons saying that how true are these allegations because that is a former head of service who probably was working hand in hand with the governor for coming out, because we saw a video as well after allegations where the governor put a call across to the wife of the former head of service, in which he was saying it was looking as if the whole scenario or his revelation was manipulative or not true. From your own point, what are your concerns?
Thank you so much for having me, and good evening. You see, what we have seen in the past few days was an allegation that is very huge and humongous. And the law is simple. He who alleges must prove. Now, Dr. George Nweke, who was the head of service, in Rivers State until a few days ago when he resigned, did say that his conscience did not allow him. He was very uncomfortable, why these things were going on. So he decided to tender his resignation, voluntarily, not under duress, and then decided to be the whistleblower. Now, as Civil Rights Coalition under the Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness, we do not know Dr. Nweke, George Nweke before now. We've never seen him. I've never seen him. I don't know him. I've never seen the suspended governor of Fubara. I've never seen him. I don't know him. But he who alleges must prove. Now, Dr. Nweke did say that he has enough facts, to prove all the allegations for which he has, dispensed, in the two press conferences he granted. Now, there are 5, very germane points that Dr. Nweke raised. He raised issues, directive for ASEM. He did say that the suspended governor of Fubara, working in tandem with his chief of staff, Mr. Edison Ehie, and some other persons, made proper arrangements and decided to destroy, burn, and bomb the Rivers State House of Assembly. That is a clear case of arson. And that contravenes the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you look at Section 14, subsection 2B, is simple and very clear. Again, Dr. Nweke raised a second allegation which borders on corruption and financial improprieties. He talked about large sums of money being doled out, for issues that concerns the suspended governor only, and as far as he's concerned, those were corruption and financial crimes, which contravenes, Section 15, subsection 5 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. He raised a third point also, which is, according to him, amounted to threats to public safety and security. He talked about, the blowing up of pipelines, which was one of the game plans, has been alleged by Dr. Nweke. He said Fubara and his men were arranging to blow up critical infrastructures in the state, which included pipelines and, which is a major economic nerve center for the entire Federal Republic of Nigeria. This Anti-Corruption Act contravenes this threat to public safety and security, contravenes Section 1 of the Terrorism Prevention Act of 2011. Then he came again to talk about collusion with militants, that the suspended governor, alongside with his chief of staff, Edison Ehie, had several meetings with heads of militant groups. That allegation was, as far as we are concerned, was is a very, very weighty one. And that contravenes very clearly, Section 43, of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, when we look at the last allegation for which he raised, he talked about the subversion of labor rights, which he alleged, that the suspended governor of Fubara had several meetings with labor leaders, intending to suppress, some the normal workings of labor and all that. He tried to truncate it, which breaches Section 40 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which guarantees the right to peaceful assembly and association. And that is fundamentally a pillar of democracy. So now, having alleged all this, we do not know any of these parties. We are just asking for accountability in the country. We are saying that there has to be accountability. Somebody should not just wake up and give allegations that are this weighty and then you sweep them under the carpet. That we cannot accept that. We are saying that the Nigerian police, the Department for State Security Services, DSS, and the Economic and Financial Crime Commission should move into action immediately, invite persons that were mentioned in these allegations, and then investigate properly. And if these people are culpable, take them to court. That is why Nigeria is not a banana republic. Somebody cannot just come and make these allegations if he cannot prove it. Then if he cannot prove it, then the law goes the other way. Dr. Nweke has to also face it. So we as rights group, we are not holding brief for Dr. Nweke, the former head of service. Neither are we holding brief for the suspended governor of Fubara. But we are saying that the right thing should be done.
All right. I mean, those are probably may be concerned about because as a suspended governor, he probably still enjoys some immunity. How can this work? I mean, issues of even inviting the security agencies to investigate on that matter. That's one. You have also commended the president for the declaration of state of emergency. There are a lot of critics that that has violated concern of dismissing entirely democracy in Rivers State. How do you substantiate this in the light of peace in terms of resolving the crisis in Rivers State?
Thank you so much. You see, when you look at, you raised the point here, you talked about, immunity of the governor. But if you look at Section 304, you start reading from subsection 1, you go down, you now start seeing about immunity and how immunity could also be lifted. When a sitting governor, commits infractions that, contravenes clearly the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if a governor, commits issues that have to do with, complete aberration of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that immunity, I'm afraid will not be able to stand in that instance. Be that as it may, even if without conceding, there are persons who allegedly perpetrated this crime, according to Dr. Nweke, who are not governors, so they do not have immunity. He mentioned some names there. And what we are saying is that even if without conceding, that the governor is still enjoying some immunity right now. These other people should also be brought for questioning, and if they are culpable, they should be made to face the wrath of the law. It's as simple as that.
Concern was the state of emergency. There are a lot of appeal, there are a lot of reactions trailing that confirmation by the National Assembly, and of course the declaration made by the president. Do you feel that there may be a better way of returning democratic leadership back to Rivers State?
Yeah, thank you so much. You see, the primary purpose of government is security and the welfare of citizens. That's the primary purpose of government. But when you see, allegations that are so weighty, like blowing up the pipelines, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, directives to ASIN, blowing up, bombing and burning of the River State House of Assembly, which culminated to the raising, bringing it down in December 2023, you find out that, these issues are so weighty. You begin to reason and begin to think that, you see, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is indeed very correct, is indeed very right to have declared a state of emergency in Rivers State and then suspended the governor. See, what we are saying is that no meaningful president will sit down and watch the breakdown of law and order, and he does nothing. That means the country is deteriorating to a banana republic. So the president is very swift. The president acted in the interest of saving the people who live in Rivers State. Those issues of to and fro that was happening between the legislative arm of government in Rivers State and the executive arm, those things were not in the best interest of the citizens. You see, when these things happen, the people that suffer it most are the citizens. So what are we saying? As we speak now, the citizens are not going to suffer anything, because the declaration by Mr. President has also been affirmed by the National Assembly, which makes it legitimate and makes it very correct and right. So if you also look at section 14, subsection 4 of section 15, subsection 4, you will see that, the National Assembly will fill the vacuum, which hitherto, was not even the case in the declaration by some previous presidents like Olusegun Obasanjo. He didn't get any two-third majority in the several declaration of state of emergency for which he did. So what we are saying right now, in the simplest possible term, is that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu acted in the best interest of every human being that lives in Rivers State. And as we speak now, no Rivers indigene or no Rivers worker will be owed a dime. The salaries will be paid as at when due, and work will be going on smoothly. All we need to do is what the president has said. If they are able to resolve these issues, they set machineries in motion to resolve the rift between the legislature and the executive in Rivers State. Then what is there is a very simple thing. Then normalcy could return, and things will start going the way it ought to be. But for now, because of the weighty allegations that have come up recently by Dr. Nweke, it becomes very difficult. It becomes rather very difficult, because the president and no meaningful person that means well for this country called Nigeria would look at those issues and treat it with a wave of hand. It is not possible. And that is why the Nigerian police, the DSS, and the EFCC must swift into action immediately and arrest the perpetrators, bring them to book, and then they face the wrath of the law if they are indeed culpable. But if they are not culpable, Dr. Nweke has to also face the rot of the law for blowing the wrong whistle or for giving information that is not correct.
All right. All right, Dr. Gabriel. Of course, I appreciate you for balancing that report because a lot of concerns and counter concerns have been coming up. But thanks so much because there are weighty allegations which must be critically looked into. Thanks so much for raising other concern and fighting corruption in the country. Dr. Nwabu Gabriel is the convener, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness. Thanks so much, Doctor, for joining us on the program tonight.
Thanks for having me. Good evening once again.
That's where we leave it, everyone. Of course, a lot of reactions coming from Rivers State. And now Edo State Tribunal confirming Akpabelo as the governor of Edo State is a fresh reaction that will be coming out. Of course, we'll try and monitor developments from that area and bring to speed the conversation here on the program. Victor, my name is Edikan Michael. Thanks so much for joining us on the show tonight. See you again.